Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is the Best Games Period podcast, and I am your co-host, Naomi Lugo, and I'm by myself this week. We had a special request from one of our lovely patrons that we would talk about our games that we are most looking forward to in 2019. So it's just me by my lonesome without my wonderful co-host, Jack, which, Jack, I miss you. You're amazing. Seriously, though, she does so many great things for the show. You guys, I just want to give her a nice little shout out. All right. Well, before I begin my ramble, I am indeed talking about the games that I am most looking forward to in this upcoming year. And so, as I was making my notes for this show, I came across an unfortunate detail, which is that everything that I'm about to talk about, it all has unconfirmed release dates. So I guess I just like punishing myself and being excited for things that may or may not come out in 2019. Who knows? But I mean, we'll see. I'm still excited for these titles. Well, with that, I'm just gonna jump on in and talk about my first game. And this one is, it's an indie game. And it has a great title, and it's Untitled Goose Game by developer House. And the best way to describe this game, I guess, is a quote that is on the website for the game. And that quote is, "It's a lovely morning in the village, and you are a horrible goose." Yeah. So the premise of the game is you are this horrible goose and you are going around this lovely countryside town, as it looks like, and you are causing them all sorts of problems. You are a chaos creator. You are pestering farmers and stealing their keys, ruining their crops, all those sorts of things. It is charming AF. I totally recommend going and looking at some gameplay footage. It is... I want to be a mischievous little goose, and I never thought I would say that in the context of video games. So thank you. Thank you, House. And another detail with this is that it will be available on the Switch, and heck yeah, more titles that come to the Switch is just going to warm my heart evermore. So yeah, that's the first game that I'm looking forward to in 2019. And those of you who know me, or at least have listened to the show, will probably see a common thread between these games. And I am a little bit predictable in that sense. But you know what? This is my list, and I like what I like. So the second game I'm talking about is, it's a game that is also an indie. And I first heard about it on Twitter, actually. It kind of was just buzzing around, and I saw the most adorable little gameplay video, and I was hooked after that. So this game is called Ooblets, and it's by a developer named Glumberland, and they are actually a two-person team, which is amazing. And this game is described as Stardew Valley meets Pokemon, meets Animal Crossing, and Harvest Moon. And, like, those are all the boxes I need ticked. Like, for real, those are all of my games combined into one, and I am literally drooling over this game. The art style is also charming, but it's got a little bit of that extra flair to it as well. So I guess let me back up and describe what the actual gameplay is, aside from all of those games kind of mushed together. But you, as your avatar that you get to create and customize, are farming in an adorable world that I just want to jump in and be a part of. But you are farming and also collecting adorable little creatures, which, if I'm remembering right, are called oobs, and... holy crap, can everything be called oobs? Yeah, so you are going through this world and farming plants and little great creatures, and So on the website for this game, they have a little glossary of all the ooblets, whatever they are called. And I totally recommend going over and seeing these adorable little designs, because So some of their names, I will read them out to you. There's Bristlebud, and he's a little cactus, little emoji face cactus. There's Durble, great name, Durble. Firmo, Fleeble, Gloopy Longlegs has a really fantastic name. I would love to have a pet named Gloopy Longlegs. There's Lump Stump, which is a kind of freaked out looking tree stump. Pantsa Bear, which is an ooblet wearing pants. Shrumbo is actually, I think, the kind of mascot ooblet. I've been seeing him around a lot. And okay, before I get too distracted looking at these cute designs, I'll move on. This game just, aside from having all of the boxes that I need in a game, it's another game along those veins that I think will just be almost like gaming medicine. And what I mean by that is it's a, and I'm assuming this, non-violent game where your goal is to explore and interact with a whole host of amazing little adorable creatures and build your farm up. And there's something about those types of games that are just really therapeutic for my soul. And I know a lot of other people feel this way as well. And I think there's something extra special about being able to bond in your digital world with little creatures that you discover. It reminds me also of the game Slime Rancher, which falls under that same vein of those therapeutic games. I loved that game because of its adorableness, of course. Again, I'm a little predictable there, but it also had a really great mechanic in its exploration. So the way that game worked is the more slimes that you farmed, you turn these slimes, their poo actually, into money, and then you used your money to then unlock different areas of the world, and then you found new types of slimes, new types of food for them, all of those things. And so what was really cool about that is not only was I creating this farm that I'm trying to get to function in the best way possible, I am also using that to, feed another part of my brain, which likes the exploration. So it was, and I've talked about this in past shows, I'm sure, but games that kind of have a fair trade-off like that are a nice remedy for our world, which might not always be so fair, where the work you put in, you see a result, and you feel a sense of accomplishment, and you get to see more, and eventually beat the game, and there's something really just nice about that for a wonderful adjective and descriptive adjective there. So that's why I get so excited when I see games like this, and there is just obviously a lot of love that's going into the game. So like I said before, this is a 2-person development team, and they've been working on this game, I believe, since 2016, and they have no qualms saying that, hey, we're taking our time on this game, but we're working our butts off on it. It's not like, or at least it doesn't seem like it's just a side project to them. It seems like they're putting everything into it, and indie games that do that are just, they have another spot in my heart. Like Stardew. Obviously, that was a 1-person team who gave everything into that game and eventually saw great results, but that's never guaranteed. So it's really amazing to see developers willing to give parts of themselves to create an experience that they think other people will enjoy. So yeah, I want ooblets and I need ooblets, and when it releases, I need plushies of ooblets so I can just keep on feeding my adorable plush creature collection addiction. Yeah, I'm fine with that. So the next one, of course, is going to be predictable as well, and that is a Pokemon Gen 8 game. And so again, another game that we don't have a ton of details on, but there is a quote that we have on record where someone said, I believe it was the CEO of the Pokemon company, that said we would get this game in the second half of 2019. So there's a little bit of hope there. I'm not completely going to expect this game in 2019, and I'm fine with that, just because this game seems like it is going to break the mold and be something that we haven't seen before from Pokemon. So I'm totally willing to give them more time to be able to accomplish that. And I have another quote from the Pokemon Company CEO, and he said, "The game will give a good understanding of what an evolved Pokemon game looks like." So, as a longtime Pokemon fan, that is absolutely what I want. And then later on in that quote, he goes and also acknowledges the work that Game Freak has put in, because obviously they've created this amazing franchise that's been going on for, gosh, is it over 20 years now? Something like that. But we're still trying to move forward and evolve, which is a very fitting word for Pokemon. I totally understand and recognize the repetitive nature of the Pokemon formula. We've had that since the first gen. It's been the same thing. You're a kid, you get a starter Pokemon, and you are going through and beating up gym leaders to get your badges, and along the way there's some sort of plot line, some sort of side plot, and you go and beat the Elite Four, and there's also some end content. It's been done a lot. I still love it. I'm actually playing Pokemon Sapphire right now, and as the third gen game, it is still something that I enjoy playing. There's something about that formula that just speaks to me, and maybe it's a comfort thing, or maybe I just like that structure, like I said a little bit earlier with ooblets, where I get, I guess, fair compensation for my time. I train my Pokemon, I become strong, we go and accomplish this great thing, beat the league, and become Pokemon Masters, So seeing something new in Pokemon would be amazing. And I've also played side games like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, where it takes the same vein, or it takes the same core elements, the Pokemon themselves, and puts it into a new formula with like a dungeon crawler, something that sounds like it might not work, but it still does. Or even going back to Pokemon Snap, which is an episode we talked about 2018, so go back and listen to that. But that game was really fun for me too. So I'm still trying to figure out my addiction and absolute adoration of Pokemon, but I think it's pretty safe to say that a new Pokemon game that's not exactly the same as all the others is still going to be amazing for me. So I'm not worried about that point. But I really want to see the franchise move forward in the similar way that we saw something new with Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey, where we still got the basis of what we all know and love, and the main things in the main structure, but they were able to evolve it and come up with something that wasn't exactly the same and was just a breath of fresh air. And I'm really excited to see Pokemon. At least that's where I'm putting my hopes, is seeing that trend where they were even able to break Mario out of his shell and not just keep on going with the same formula there. And on that note, I would love for this game. Here, I'll just describe what I want Pokemon Gen 8 to be. I mean, a whole new host of Pokemon would be cool, but I'm totally fine with seeing some of the older gens. It doesn't have to be solely Gen 8 focused or anything like that. But of course, I would love not so much focus on Gen 1, just because that's we're all drowning in Gen 1. We're all gonna be here, Pokemon. Like, you don't have to just throw Pikachu in our faces all the time. So I would love to have the ability to go on this open world adventure with my partner Pokemon, right? And I would love to have the ability to maybe go and explore the world and find that Pokemon. And maybe take some work to maybe go find a Lucario in the wild. Or not a Lucario, Riolu, and then evolve him into a Lucario, and then maybe eventually Mega Lucario. You know, just have that progression with my Pokemon that isn't the standard starter would be really awesome. Where the open world choice feels like it matters is then I am able to, you know, have my own journey and, you know, choose what type of trainer I want to be. And maybe they would incorporate the different paths of Pokemon. So there's the Pokemon trainers, of course, there's the breeders, there's you know, there's a whole bunch of things that you can be doing in this game, and it'd be really cool to see them acknowledge those and maybe different core mechanics in the game. And I would absolutely love if they went with some of the more mature storylines. And I know that we've seen this in the past, you know, with, I think it was Pokemon Black and White. We saw some excellent storytelling there in Black and White and Black and White 2. So I would love to see some of the more mature storylines, maybe even going to the anime. There's a great series called Pokemon Origins, where it goes and looks at all the story beats of, you know, Pokemon Legend pretty much. And it has things like, well, it basically has everything that you can think of that is a really huge part of Pokemon. So even if they went back and acknowledged something like that, that'd be really cool. And I would love to be older than a preteen already. Like, holy crap, can we move on from being supposedly 10 years old, maybe young adult even? That would be amazing, with character customization beyond here's a couple hair colors and a couple skin tones. Please, Pokemon, please, 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 please. Like, all of your fans are begging for that. But anyway, as a more selfish thing, I guess, I would love to see the inclusion of the legendary dog trio. That would be awesome. And that's Entei, Suicune, and Ryoku. So, yeah, that's a little bit more of a selfish note, but I'm just picturing, like, in Pokemon Let's Go, where you can ride on the backs of different Pokemon. I want to ride on the back of an Entei. That would be so epic. Anyway, so yeah, that's my third, is a Pokemon Gen 8 game. And the last is another Nintendo, and another game that, of course, has a very, very vague 2019 release. And that's the new Animal Crossing. And again, we have no details aside from a couple trailers, if even that. The one I know of is from the September 2018 Nintendo Direct, and this was after a kind of mean teaser with Isabelle. And then it turned out she was just going to be in Smash, which I don't know if you've played as Isabelle in Smash, but it feels kind of weird either getting beat up as Isabelle or beating people up. But hey, character diversity, it's awesome seeing a little puppy dog like beating up on Cloud and Snake and stuff. Yep, I'm totally for that. But yeah, so in this September 2018, trailer, if you even want to call it that, it's very short and very vague. We see Tom Nook just looking very beaten up and broken in a dark office, and he's rambling, and he's talking about how he's been working really hard to come up with a new place for everyone to call home. He's been super busy because, people have been fighting in Smash tournaments and camping and all that, but now it's time for him to get to work. And at the end there, he looks a little mad, so he's working on it, guys. He's working on it. And then there's just a cut to a 2019 screen. That's all we've got. And as of this recording, it's February now. So hopefully we're going to get a little bit more details. I'm predicting this one is probably going to come out, late 2019, maybe with the holiday season. But I mean, I guess there wouldn't be too much of a problem with it competing with another Nintendo title. We saw a very tight release date with Smash and Pokemon, and they seem to be doing just fine, breaking all their records. So maybe we'll have a similar release date where we get Pokemon again in November and Animal Crossing in December, or vice versa. But Animal Crossing, it's just a full dose of sugar and fluff. And with that sugar, it is supremely addicting. The past games, they're really, really simple when you think about it to the core mechanics. You're this random person who wanders in and becomes mayor, and it's up to you to fix up the village. Or not. You can just go fishing and work off your debt that you owe for expanding your house. It's kind of up to you. It goes on or at least the 3DS title, I'm not sure about the older one, goes on a time schedule. So if you're gone too long, you will start to see that in the world. And the villagers who are, of course, in this village with you will start to get upset with you that you haven't been able to come by and say hi and all of that. Which is kind of an interesting mechanic for a game that can easily be glossed over since it is so cute and fluffy. But this is like absolutely a perfect game for the Switch. Not only the portability, but I mean, it's just the game that I thought of when the Switch was even first announced. And it's kind of crazy that we're the third year in with the Switch's release, and we still haven't gotten an Animal Crossing, at least not even a port from New Leaf or something. So it's about time. And I don't know what they're gonna do with this one, really. I mean, because I was talking about Pokemon last and how I'm predicting that it's going to go under that same formula where we see these games breaking barriers. So that'd be really interesting to see with Animal Crossing. I can't imagine, like a Breath of the Wild style Animal Crossing. That'd be really cool, but I don't know, it's hard to picture, but that's what makes it kind of exciting. Maybe it's something where we see different worlds. Instead of just a village where you're a mayor, maybe you're fixing up an entire world. With different biomes and all of that. That sounds like a nightmare for Isabelle and having to talk to every single villager, but hey, it could be cool. Maybe expanded content on the mini games, because that's really those are the base of the gameplay itself, aside from being a day organizer, is like the fishing games and collecting and all of those things. And I don't know, it's tough because I feel like they definitely have to keep the same aesthetic. That's what they're built on, the adorable aesthetic. So I can't see too much going differently with the graphics and all that, aside from, you know, obvious like smoothing over of the graphics for the Switch. But yeah, this game has a lot of potential, and I'm really excited to see what that could be. I can't wait to just be completely glued to my Switch with the release of these games. All of these have been confirmed or just kind of obviously going to be on Switch, except for Ooblets, which it better be on Switch. Oh my god. Again, another game that would be absolutely perfect for the Switch. But if all of these games do come out, I will be getting all of them, and you will have to pry the Switch away from me. Which is, I mean, that's a great thing. I guess because the Switch has had a reputation for so long that I think it's definitely broken in 2018, that, you know, there weren't a lot of games to play on it, and now I'm just super excited to be able to play not only, you know, my core Nintendo franchises, but to be able to explore new indie games. I feel like that's a really big strength of the Switch, is being able to promote so many indie games, and that's pretty amazing. I know that we see that, of course, in PlayStation and Xbox, but there's just something special about what Switch has been able to do with indie. I think maybe just seeing them side by side with like Smash, I don't know. There's just something that they are doing right with their marketing, where I feel like the Switch is my little indie platform. But yeah. So those are the games that I would love to see in 2019. Again, they all are unconfirmed with their release dates, but we have vague notions that they'll be out in 2019. So, they still qualify for this list. But yeah, I mean, are there any games in this list that you're also excited for? I mean, I would love to hear from you, fellow, oh gosh, what do we even call this genre? Adorable, charming collector games with adorable creatures and happy gameplay. Yeah, if there's fellow that genre people out there, please tweet at me. I would love to talk about these games, especially if you have any recommendations. Yeah, send those my way. And you can find me at Naomi and Lugo. That's my Twitter. And of course, you can also talk to me on the Best Games Period Twitter, at Best Games Period. And we also have a Facebook and an Instagram, and that's where we can keep you up to date with all the games that we've been talking about. Because of course, we at least try to release a new show once a week, if we're lucky, more. And that's all thanks to, again, the lovely Jack for keeping us organized and on top of things. So again, shout out Jack. But yeah, and if you like what we're doing and maybe want to help us expand our options, we're actually thinking about maybe doing video in the future. Ooh. And let's plays and things to that nature. If you want to support us a little bit more, we also have a Patreon at Best Games Period. Just for $1 a month, you can let us know that you love us, and we of course love you too. And with that, I want to just give a shout out to our amazing patrons who are giving us that love right there. You are why we keep on recording, and you really make this show something special. So thank you guys. And so you can find this show on a bunch of different platforms where you find podcasts: iTunes, Libsyn, SoundCloud, and of course you can find it posted on our social channels. And you can also find this on a wonderful charity site called Extra Life, community.extra-life.org. And what Extra Life is it's a place that brings gamers together to raise money for kiddos in need at Children's Miracle Network hospitals across the nation. And a day in November each year called Game Day, gamers get together and raise funds in the way we best know how, and that's through gaming. People go ahead and stream and raise money that way. They have live events. They do crazy things on camera, like eat hot peppers for donations. Pretty much anything you can think of. Oh, and also games aren't limited to video games. They can be board games. They could be like in-person games. Any sort of game that you want to play. So that's a pretty amazing deal, to be able to raise money for kiddos in need, but also have tons of fun doing it. It's a great organization, and so definitely go check them out. And on that note, after all this rambling, I want to thank you guys and say see you on the flippity dippity.